How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going over another 5 amazing open world bosses in New World that you can easily solo that drop big ticket bind on equip items that you can make tons of gold off of. But first, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. This is episode 2 in my series of bossing for gold, so if you missed the first episode, you can check it out after this one. It'll be linked in the video description and at the end of this video. The open world bosses I'm going to be showing you in today's episode will all have the chance at dropping at least one big ticket bind and equip item that you can sell on the trading post for a good chunk of cash. They will also be easy enough to do solo if you have average gear and are at max level, so no bosses that'll take you like 10 minutes to solo. But this is not recommended if you have not hit level cap yet. And, like with every gold making method in New World, prices will differ in every server, so it's important to check the trading post before going out and doing any of these methods. I'll have an image on screen now of all the big ticket items you'll be hunting for in this episode, so that way you can check on the trading post which goes for most in your server, and then go after it. Feel free to use the timestamps below to jump around to the boss of your choosing. It is worth noting, however, that even though certain items may sell for more in your server than others, it could still be beneficial to go for a less valuable item if the boss has a lower spawn time, the item is more in demand, or if the boss has a ton of valuable resources around its spawn. That's why it's important to watch every boss. You'll not only be given what big ticket item to look out for, but you'll also be provided with spawn times, what kinds of resources are around the spawn, other items of value to look out for from said boss, and how to get to them as well. Also, it's worth switching up which bosses you grind from time to time, as you get a few of each big ticket item, so when it comes to selling them, you can put a couple of different ones up at once, and make the whole selling process go faster. You don't want to end up waiting for 10 of the same items to sell. Now, before jumping into the first boss, let's quickly go over a couple of quick tips and tricks when starting your grinds. For starters, if you're heading out to grind a boss and you really want to maximize things, you can throw on some luck gear and consume some luck food to squeeze every little thing you can out of your grind. I don't think it really helps that much, as the luck system is a tad broken, but it's an option. The same goes for the resources around said boss. If you have maxed out gathering gear for all the gathering skills, this will improve your gold per hour significantly as well. Just switch to it before gathering the resources, then go back to your boss killing gear. You can even go grind PvP flagged for additional luck boosts, but if you do so, and other people are grinding at the same location, you won't be able to group up. And, if you do go PvP flagged, or you're newer to the game, you can always set up a camp just outside any boss spawns, so if you do end up dying for any reason, you can spawn back really close. Also, if you want to stay ultra efficient on your grinds, these bosses are a great time to use your daily topaz gypsum attunement potions to get all of your free daily topaz gypsum, so you can get those extra gypsum orbs. You'll also be getting your daily obsidian gypsum from some of these bosses as well. And finally, I like to throw on a territory standing music buff whenever I go grinding these bosses, just to get my standing up a bit on the grind as well. You can also use other music buffs that might be more valuable to you, like increased yields if you're going to be doing a lot of gathering in between kills. With that all out of the way, let's head on over to boss number 1, and that's Faye the Last Protector. The big ticket you're going to be looking for from Faye is the chef pants, but he also has some ironwood trees around his spawn that can stack onto your profits as well. The downside of Faye though is this hefty 6-minute spawn time, so maybe grind this boss when you need a bit more AFK time on the side, or go resource farming in between kills. To get to him, you're going to want to teleport into the Clarion Outpost in Shattered Mountain, and then run on over to Fell Belfry. He'll be spawning the platform here. He's very easy to solo, and you can put a camp literally right beside his spawn if you're worried. His jumping spin move is really his only move to look out for, but it's easy to dodge. If you're struggling due to the mobs around him, either take them out first, or throw on some ranged weapons and lure him away to solo him closer to the mountainside. There's a good amount of resources around him you can grind out while you wait for him, with a couple of ironwood tree spawns, some soul worms, chests, high tier ore veins, and even Azoth springs. Plus, you can also take out the wood wolves in the area while you're waiting, and harvest them for some extra wordwood. When it comes to his drop table, other than his big ticket item in the chef pants, he also can drop the progenitor set, which is a very solid set for void damage builds, and it's got a great amulet, but again, like with most open world bosses, you can't upgrade it to the max gear score, so it would just be for transmog or stepping stone gear. There's also a couple of legendaries that you can salvage for some dark matter, and you can drop topaz gypsum as well, so it's a good spot to get your dailies in. Next up is the double boss, in boss 2 and 3, that are a lot more active than Faye, and that's Dao Shen the Unstoppable and Xi Wang the Immovable. When it comes to Dao Shen, the big ticket you're looking for is the Weaver's Pants, and for Xi Wang, it's the Woodworker's Pants. With an incredibly short respawn time of 1 minute, these guys can pretty much be infinitely farmed with no downtime. Simply take one out, then run over to the next one, take them out, and by the time you get back to the previous boss, you should have spawned already. To get to them, you're going to want to teleport to the Clarion Outpost in Shattered Mountain, like with the previous boss, but just go a bit south into Limbus Cavatus. Each boss is on either side of this cavern. They aren't as easy as some of the other bosses in this series, but they're still easy enough to solo, especially once you get the hang of their moves. If you're going for a specific item from one of them, you can kill them and then go AFK for a minute and keep farming the boss of your choice, or chain them together for an incredibly efficient grind. If you're anything like me though, you might get a bit lost running from boss to boss your first couple of times, but just put a map marker down if you're struggling, and eventually, navigating these caverns will become second nature to you. There's a plethora of mithril ore veins in this cavern, so if you don't mind slowing down your kills per hour and want to gather some ore on the side, this is a great place to do that too. Having some mining gear you can switch to in and out of while on the grind will significantly increase your gold per hour as well. When it comes to the rest of their drop table, other than the big ticket items, they drop pretty much the same thing, with both dropping the progenitor set, like with Faye, if you wanted some good stepping stone gear, or if you're after the transmog. Then, they both have their own unique 5 legendaries they can drop, which can be salvaged for dark matter and add to the transmog collection. Plus, they also both drop topaz gypsum, so this is a great spot to get your daily topaz out of. And finally, we've got another double boss for numbers 4 and 5 in Pit Lord Daehi and Corrupted Adjudicator Luca. For Daehi, you're mainly looking for the chef's shoes, and from Luca, you're looking for the tanner's hat. But what's a fantastic thing about this grind is that Daehi drops corrupted totem shards after each kill, which when you collect 100 of them, you can craft into a corrupted totem, which can sell for tons of gold in most servers, as it's needed to improve a corrupted bane trophy. If you're really lucky, you could even get a fully made corrupted totem to drop, but that means you're guaranteed profit from this boss sooner or later, even if you're going dry on the chef's shoe drops. His spawn time is pretty high though, at 6 minutes, so it'll take a good amount of time to get those 100 kills in. As for Luca, he also takes 6 minutes to spawn, so you have a good chunk of time in between spawns to go AFK or go resource farming. To get to Daehi, you're going to want to teleport into the Warcamp Shrine in Shattered Mountain, and run on over east to this area on the map, where he'll be spawning. Once you kill him, Luca is slightly east over here on the map. When running through to Luca on your mount, they most likely aggro a lot of mobs, so I like to run up and lay on this cliff to unaggro them before taking out Luca. Neither of these bosses are hard to solo, but there's several mobs around the area that can make it annoying to do so watch out to not aggro them. You also have to watch out for the corruption affliction in this area that will take away some of your health every once in a while, but if you have any kind of self-healing perks on your gear, you should be fine. If not, just make sure to check in from time to time and pop a health potion if you're spending time AFK. If you're going to go AFK in between kills, and you choose to wait at Daehi, standing on this pillar is a great spot to wait for him to spawn back in. Or, if you're waiting for Luca, just hang out on the cliff I mentioned before. Also, if you have a set of luck gear, and you can easily solo Daehi, or there's others here grinding with you, it's worth throwing that on whenever you kill him to increase your chances of getting a fully formed corrupted totem to drop, as that'll skyrocket your profits. This area is also very rich in resources, with tons of orichalcum veins, so if you don't want to be AFK for much time, you can go out and farm all the orichalcum while you wait, which will increase your profits by so much. As for other items to look out for from these two, other than the big ticket items, they pretty much follow the same theme as the rest of the bosses in this video, as they drop the progenitor set, and they each have their own unique legendaries to farm for transmog and dark matter. But Daehi also drops some pretty nice skilling gear, which isn't exactly the best you can get, but it's really good, and can be sold on for a pretty penny if you didn't want to use it yourself. They both also drop topaz gypsum, and Daehi can drop obsidian as well, so you can farm out your dailies here if you wanted to. But that covers 5 more amazing bosses in New World that you can solo farm for big ticket items, to net tons of gold. Let me know which is your favorite to farm, and if I missed out on any good ones. Eventually I'll put together a part 3 to this video, for some more bosses you can go after. Also, if the video was of any help, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps out massively. But until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video, and a massive shout out to all the channel members and patrons seen on screen now. Links on how to become one in the video description. If you'd like to check out even more bosses to solo farm for gold, click on the playlist to the left. Or, if you'd like to learn about other great ways to make gold in New World, click on the video to the right.